What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASA Studio. As you all know, we're here in Photoshop and we're going to be doing some photo retouching tutorial today. Alright, so let's get started. But before that, I wanted to share with you a very big thank you for everyone out there supporting the channel. And if you're new to the channel and you like the content we're posting, kindly subscribe. Please, it helps the channel grow. Alright, so let's get back into the tutorial. Now I have an awesome beautiful photo of a model in the screen, and you might be wondering, as a beginner or really intermediate, what do you want to edit? The picture is already looking great. Yeah, it's looking great, but let's zoom in and let's see. Now if you zoom in, and you can see that she has some little bit blemishes, and also let's take it down and see the skin variation. You can see the skin variation of the top and the back and down of our skin. And also if you zoom in, you see our teeth is actually not the white in our eyeball, not as bright as we look. And so you can see the variation in skin color and also our hands. So we're going to be doing some fixing in this tutorial. Alright, so quite a couple of things, and then we're going to enhance the photo. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to balance the skin color, which is this one. I'm going to try as much as possible to balance it at first, and then we go to some other things we need to fix. So first thing first, let's start with that first. Go to hue and saturation, and then pick the end to select our neck, which is the darker part, of which I don't want it dark. So let's see some range. Now when you take this thing up, you see that the skin is actually selected. You can move this slider. You take this slider, it's going to select the highlight, and if you take this slider, it's going to select the darker part. So let's just leave it somewhere around here like this. This is the saturated part, and it's not going to select that actually. So now close it and then go double click on it to bring out the blending option and let me cancel this one. So what you're going to do, you're going to adjust the slider till where the black part is actually selected, the darker part, so you can see on our skin selected. All right, so let's keep on bringing it down till you have just that selected. So something like this. I'm just going to hit Alt to separate and then draw it back a little to make it smoother, but not too much. Just like that will do. And then we're going to click OK on the keyboard. Now let's open it again and this time around go to where we selected it and make this one 0. Alright, so now it's 0 and I can see some red, so I'm going to take it forward a little, and you can see that it's actually blending before and after. Let's zoom in. Yeah, okay, so let's go back to it, and we can see, go back to the red, and you can see before and after, just a little bit difference. And we can increase the saturation also to make it more uniform, and let's see how we can actually balance that. We don't need too much of that, we just need just more difference, and we can see before and then after. Alright, so I'm gonna close that and then I'm gonna zoom out. Alright, so the next thing we're actually going to do is to blend the skin color and then work on the teeth. So that I'm going to be using frequency separation. So let's create a stamp visible layer first of all, and we're going to do some frequency separation. So if you're new to frequency separation, you can actually follow up. If you are already know more about frequency separation, you can actually skip to the next part. Alright, so guys, name this one color after duplicating the layer twice. Name this one texture. So typically frequency separation is actually trying to separate the color and the texture layer. I'm going to group the two together so that we can work on them independently. Let's turn off the texture layer, select the color layer, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we're going to blur it. The more you blur it, the more the texture you see. So I'm just going to blur it a little because I want it more. That 10 will do. Let's just leave it at 11 and then click on OK. Turn on the texture layer, click on the texture layer, go to image, apply image, and then we're going to select the color layer we renamed under the layer, multiply, go to subtract. Just follow the step. When your image is 8-bit, the scale is 2, offset 128, click on OK, and you can see that the texture has been separated from the color, from the image, so you can see different texture and different images. All right, so now I'm going to change the blending mode to linear light, and then we're back to our image. Okay, so now we're going to be working differently, independently. Let's zoom in, select the color layer. On the color layer, you're going to use the mixer tool brush, which is this one, while the texture layer, you're going to use the close stamp tool. All right, so set your brush settings like this. You can, mess around with the wet, but make sure it is a clean brush, meaning as you keep on applying, it reloads. Okay, so I'm just going to now mind the way you blend the highlight, because it's actually going to make the image look flat. Okay, so I'm going to do the frequency separation, just brush around, and you're going to get something uniform. So blend around the colors, trying to blend the colors together. So just follow up on what I'm doing. Okay, so I guess my computer is actually hanging, so I'm going to do fast with that. So mind the highlight, like I said, mind the highlight. Now the lesser blending you do, the more real it becomes. Okay, so I'm just going to blend this just like that, and you can as well blend this place. You can just imagine what that did. So I don't want to undo that, because let's just leave it that way, and let's zoom in and let's see. So pay close attention to your image, just like that, and you keep blending till you get the best. I'm gonna increase the size, and I'm gonna blend, continue blending. And this side, you can see the difference between the cheek and the red bones, cheekbones, I mean. So just around, you can dance around. I'm just going to be fast with this for the sake of the tutorial. You can actually take your time in doing all this. So let's blend this together to blend the colors. And for the highlight, I'm just going to blend the down part of my nose. So let's zoom out, and then let's zoom in. So whenever you see that there's difference in color variation, you can actually so I'm gonna quickly do that for you guys in this place too. I can see some greens there, so just know after this we're going to reduce that. So I think I'm actually okay with the frequency separation, with the blending of the skin tones. I'm just going to blend this. You can do that at your own. Select the texture layer, and then click on the mixer on the clone stamp tool. Hold down Alt to sample, left click, and then over it click. So there are tons of video on that online, so I'm just gonna quickly do and fix some places. Alt and click, Alt and click, just some small places that needed to be fixed. Alright, so I'm gonna do this one for below. Yeah, I turn off the align tool just because I just want to make use of just the place. Okay, so I think that would do, but I would have worked more. I'm going to go to the color layer and go back to the mixer tool brush, and let me try and blend the neck together. So I'm trying to blend the neck together, and I can see some colors. Okay, our ends too. Let's blend our ends together. Mind the highlight, don't mess around with the highlight. Okay, and our hands. So this will probably take some time, and you can skip it, you know, just skip the video if you know how to do this. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this for the now, so we can see before and then after. You can see how amazing it looks before and then after. Okay, so quickly let's fix the ones on top. The green that's actually here, well, it looks like an orange color, but I think it's green. So here on saturation, let's see, I'm gonna select that part, and let's see if, yeah, so I think it's the right part that's actually selected. We can actually reduce what is being selected, so something like this, just a little. All right, so now let's go back, make it 0, and I'm going to either decrease the saturation or just the hue. Let's see what it does to it. Okay, we're going to take it back from the greens, and I think that fixes, yes, take it back to the green. I don't think we need any other thing, just desaturate a little, -11, and we're good. So we just fixed that place just now with the hue and saturation. You can see some yellows, and we're back to normal. Okay, so now let's continue with what we are doing. I've done frequency separation. Let's create a stamp visible layer, and this time around we're taking it to camera raw filter. Alright, so here we are in camera raw filter. We can actually zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so start with the basic tab, and let's see how we can actually fix things with white balance. So I'm gonna click on that place, and as you can see, let's select that, select the white balance too, and let's select the white part. You said the area is too bright for white balance, so definitely we select somewhere else. I think let's select that. So I selected the earring, and this is what we have, so we can turn that off and turn it back on. I think that's actually good. You can set it back on auto, and you can see how auto looks in respect to the custom. So I'm going to leave it at the custom, and let's fix some couple of things. I think that place is actually too bright, so we're going to reduce the white in the image to see if we can get some information. I'm going to leave it just the way, so there's no information there, but let's increase the highlight. Okay, so just like that. That's too bright, my mouse going forward, so I'm going to leave it like this. I just want to set the white balance first of all, so this is actually okay for me, and then I'm going to hit OK on the keyboard, and so we have Photoshop and that for us. And like I said, we need to balance the teeth. We need to whiten the teeth because it's dirty, so let's quickly do that. Go to the adjustment layer, go to the photo filter, and let's choose we can use the cooling filter 82 like that, and then we create another one adjustment layer, which is the black and white layer. Okay, so you can actually group the two together, and you can mess around with your black and white. Let's group it, mask it I mean, and then invert the mask, select the brush tool, and foreground color white, and we're going to paint on the teeth just like this. So we need a white teeth and not the one. Let's reduce that and then bring it up. I think working with what we have. Don't worry, we're going to decrease the opacity or the flow. Again, let's do this, make things look real. All right, so I think we're done. Teeth white. Let's open it up and then go to the black, and this time around we can mess around with, yeah, I think let's increase that, and let's see about the yellows. That's too much. The greens, no working, calling the blues. I think that's looking, so we can increase the cyan just because of the cyan on our clothes. Let's increase that, and let's find a sweet spot for the red. So I'm going to bring it all the way up to brighten that up like that. I'll even bring it up the more. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to hit. Okay, so let's look at it from afar, and we can see it's just a little bit unreal, so we can decrease the opacity. Yeah, the opacity just 34 looks great to me. So we can see before and then after brightening up the teeth. All right, so let's create another stamp visible layer, and then we'll go to camera raw filter to do some other enhancement. So filter, camera raw filter again. So here we are in camera raw filter, and just because of this part I'm going to increase the shadows to have more details on the shadows like that, and I think that's okay. We can also increase the highlights. I just want more highlights. We're going to tidy up this place later on, so that's looking amazing. The blacks, let's bring up the blacks a little. We want to bring the photo back to life, and I think that's actually looking okay. Go to the texture, increase the texture. Yeah, now just watch what you are doing as you increase the texture. That's too much. I think that's the sweet spot right there. All right, so you can increase the vibrance, but I think I'm going to leave that for the now, and I'm going to close this basic tab. I'm going to go to the curve, and let's create the next curve. Take this up and then bring this down a little. That's to create, I think that's going down too much, just a little. Oh, come on, down. Yeah, so let's see before and after. All right, so that's okay. I just like little of that, and I'm going to go to where I like going to, which is the color mixer. And what we're going to do is to make things look better. I'm going to go to the hue and make the oranges look like the yellows a little bit, because if you take it back it looks like the red, and let the yellows look like the oranges even more like that. And the red on our lips, which is like the pink, if you take it, it dies out, so I need to take it back to look more like the red, and that is going to enhance that. I think that's too much, but this just looks fine to me. And for the aquas, let's make it look more aqua, yeah, like that. And the blues, make it look more aqua, and I'm going to leave that. For the magenta, make it look more purplish. Alright, so for the saturation now, we'll go make this saturated to bring out the color the more. And for the oranges, let's make it a little bit saturated. The all yellows, make it a little bit saturated, just not too much. And let's use 99. And for the red too, more saturated. Okay, so I think we're done with the saturation. Luminance, we can actually just a little bit pump up the luminance of the skin. So I think that's okay. And for the yellows, so the color mixer, we can turn it off and on, so you can just see a little bit difference in what we did. Okay, so for the red Prami, she's black skin. Let's take it back and take this blue up. Okay, and I think the greens needs to follow up on that, so like this, and we can check out the before and then the after. But we kind of lost the the skin color we feel like. She's not that black though, so let's take it forward a bit and take this backwards a bit. Wow. And now let's find a sweet spot for the greens, but I like taking it towards the red, not like this. That looks beautiful like this, I think. But taking it forward, let's take it backwards. Okay, taking it backwards, and let's see before and then after. So just enhance the color even more. Okay, so this is the setting I'm going to leave. If this is -11, I think I'm going to take this to +11. Yeah, so let's leave it at +10. So we have this and this. Okay, and then I'm going to hit OK on the keyboard, and then we are here with the final image. So let's look at our before and then our after. Alright, so one thing I need to do is to decrease the exposure of this place. So let's bring it back a little, of which we can get that. I'm going to reset that and use the offset button. I think we can get that reset. Let's try out the gamma button. So that place is just too bright. That method won't work. I'm going to delete that and I'm going to use brightness and contrast. So let's bring down the brightness and see if we can. Let's even bring it down the more. So I think that place is actually okay. Now invert the mask, Control I, and let's paint over it. Take out the brush, increase the brush size. Let's decrease the flow. In fact, let's just paint over it like this and like this. Ctrl Z. Let's make it smaller and paint it over here. And so we're actually going to double click on it and we're going to remove it from the darker part. Double click to bring out the blending mode, and let's remove it from the darker part. So something, hold down Alt, click on it, and then not too much. Okay, if that didn't bring up the solution we want, join it together, bring it. So on the underlaying layer, I'm actually going to use the other one. Hold down Alt, click, and then I think we've gotten to the end of it. Well, let's click on OK, and since we can't get that on the way, we can decrease the opacity a little, and let's see, that's bright and that's looking a little bit better than before. All right, so this how it looks, but does not look real to me. And I think I'm just going to manage that for the now. I'm going to take it back the more just to reduce that, and then we're done with the image. All right, so if you want to go on color grading the more, you can click on the color balance, and how we do it, color grade and make things look awesome. Okay, I'm gonna reset and start with the midtones, the shadows. So on the shadows, let's click on the shadows. Okay, I'm going to add some blues to bring things. I'm going to add some, let's add some magenta, and then increase towards the cyan, and then let's go to the highlight and dial in some yellows, some red, and let's see about some green. We're actually trying to color grade, and then in midtones you can do the same too, yellow, red, and find a sweet spot for that. Okay, so you can see the before and then the after. And why I like doing color grading is I don't like making the difference so big. And one more thing, you can use the melanin LUT because she's dark skin. So go to color lookup, and I'm gonna choose from the melanin cube, and we can decrease the opacity, but she's not that dark. Just something like this kind of gives it a very calm look. All right, so that's if you want to use the melanin a lot. I think I like it like this. I'm going to create a stamp visible layer from this side and group everything, and let's see our final before and after. So this place to here, I'm going to do the grouping and I'm going to turn it off, and let's see. This was our before and then this was our after. You can also bring this up before and then this is our after, so you can see the melanin LUT just makes things look calmer. Alright, so if you enjoyed the video, kindly like the video and share the video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you in our next video. Thank you once again. This is ASAS. Man.